Today on our 2004 Chevrolet Blazer, we're going to be taking a look at showing you how to install the Aries black powder coated steel grille guard, part number AA4044. So whether you're doing some serious off-roading, driving down some country back roads, or if you just want that aggressive look on your truck, our Aries guard is going to be a great choice. And not only is this going to protect the front of our vehicle from brush and other things when we're driving down the country roads or even off-roading with our Blazer, but it's also going to give it a nice rugged look. Now our grille guard is one piece and there's no drilling required to get it installed, and it is made out of a carbon steel construction. Our guard is going to have a 1.5-inch diameter tubing. It's going to be a heavy wall tube design. It's going to feature a semi-gloss black powder coat finish, which not only is going to give it that nice look, but it's also going to help resist rust. The risers are going to have a protective rubber strip going around all the way to the bottom and up and around the top towards the back, which is going to keep it protected against scratches or anything like that. The headlight cage here is removable, so you can have that custom look. The crossbar here is pre-drilled to accept auxiliary lights, which are sold separately. Now that we've gone over some of the features and benefits, let's show you how we get it installed. The first step in our installation is going to be opening up the hood so we can gain access to the grille. Now in order to get all of our brackets in place, we are going to have to remove our grille. Now fortunately, there's only some clips holding it in place, so if we come to the outer edge over here and we start pulling gently, it'll release the clips and we can start working our way across. Now we do have some lights that are attached to our grille, so we can go ahead and take them out. Just going to push on that button and slightly turn and it'll unlock them. I'm just going to let those set right there for now. And we're going to set our grille aside. So here we're going to have our two top mount brackets. And if we look in our bumper, we're going to have several holes. The way we're going to know if we have the driver or passenger side is that we want these tabs or ears to be facing towards the inside. Now the way we're going to mount these is we're going to take a 3/8 by 1-inch bolt followed by a flat washer. We're going to drop our bolt through our bracket. We're going to drop it down through the bumper, and then we're going to attach it using a 3/8 lock nut. I'm going to leave this pretty loose for right now, and we'll go ahead and get the other bracket in place. So we're going to want to straighten our brackets out. We're going to want to spread them apart until they're 27 inches in between our brackets. And once we get it set at 27 inches, then we can go ahead and snug down our brackets. I'm going to come back using a 16mm socket and a 17mm wrench, and I'm going to snug up these bolts. Not overly tight, but just nice and snug so they might have a little bit of movement in case I need to make any adjustments. We can go ahead and tighten the other side as well. And if your brackets moved, since they're nice and snug, but we can still move them, now would be a good time to go ahead and double check your measurements. If we move to the underside of our truck, we're going to see our tow hooks, and we're going to have a couple bolts holding them in place. Now we're going to take our frame brackets here, and we're going to have a short side and a long side. Now the long side needs to come down, and it needs to be towards the center of our vehicle. Now we're going to be using the existing factory bolts for our tow hooks, so we're going to need to take them out and then put our bracket in place and replace them. I'm going to be using a 15mm socket to remove these two bolts. Now with the two bolts removed, we can grab our bracket and again make sure the long side is facing down and towards the middle of our truck. So I'm going to take one of my bolts, slide it through the hole, line up my tow hook, bolt holes, and rethread it back into place. And once we get that one in there, we can get the second one in place and snug it down. Now we're only going to do these about hand tight. We don't want to tighten them all the way just yet. because we may need to make a few adjustments and slide it back and forth to get our brush guard to sit the way we want it. We're going to go in and repeat the same process on the other side. So we're almost ready to put our guard in place. But before we do, I want to go over the hardware because it is going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain while I'm holding it. Down here at the bottom, we're going to take our 7/16 bolts. We're going to follow it up with a flat washer, go through the bracket and then through the guard itself, and then we're going to follow it up with another flat washer, and then finally a lock nut. Now up top, these brackets are going to line up with the center section of our guard. We're going to have a couple 1/4" screws. We're going to take our flat washer, go through the bracket and the guard, and then finally come back with a lock nut. Now we can go ahead and put our grill back in place. You just want to remember to plug your lights in before you get everything in there. We're just going to line up all our clips and push it back in. Now with an extra set of hands, we're going to get our guard loosely put in place. While they're holding it, I'll go ahead and put the hardware in. We're going to have 2 bolts on each side, but I'm only going to get 1 in right now. That way I don't have to worry about the guard falling on me. So I'm going to take my hardware, I'm going to slide it through both brackets. And actually our kit doesn't give you enough washers, I don't think. So I went and grabbed another flat 1/4" washer so I can have a washer on both sides of the bolt. And then I'm going to attach my lock nut on the back side. Now that we have this one in place, we'll go ahead and put the other one in as well. I'm going to come back with a 3/8 wrench, and that's going to be what's holding on to the nut. Then I got a Phillips head screwdriver, and I'm going to tighten up those screws. And once we have it nice and snug, we're going to go in and repeat that for the other side as well. With our guard adjusted, we can go ahead and tighten up the bolts that are at the bottom of our tow hook. And again, I'm going to be using a 15mm socket. Now because we have a bracket here, we may need to use a wrench to tighten up these bolts. I'm going to come back using an 18mm socket and a 19mm wrench, and I'm going to tighten up the bolt on the bottom of our bracket here. We'll go in and repeat that for the other side as well. So that'll finish up the installation, and the only thing we have left to do now is to go ahead and take off the protective coating that's on the bar. And the only reason why I left that on there was so that I didn't scratch my blazer and I didn't scratch the bar before I put it on. And that'll finish up our look at the Aries black powder coated steel grill guard, part number AA4044 on our 2004 Chevrolet.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.